Okay, my mom's the audience today, and my sister behind the camera. Um, Hi, my name is Danny Nicholas. I'm going to teach you guys the history of Jeep. Have you ever looked at a mountain and wondered what's on top? Well, with Jeep, they made that possible to go anywhere, anytime. Jeeps were first established in 1941. They were first a military Jeep, our first military vehicle, Willys Quad. Um, there were only two of these made, and this was just to show the military what they could do, basically. Um, Later in 1945, the first civilian Jeep was made because the Jeep was first a military vehicle. The first civilian Jeep was called the CJ2A. CJ stands for civilian Jeep, 2A stands for second generation Model A. In June of 1940, with World War II coming to the U.S. Army wanted an automobile that was a quarter ton and met the Army specifications. Only three companies responded, which would be the Bat-Tam American Car Company, Willys Overland, and Ford. My father has owned many Jeeps and grew up in Butler, Pennsylvania, where Jeeps originated. I have also done a lot of research to do with Jeeps as well. I've installed lift kits and upgrades to many parts of my Jeep because I do own a Jeep. Today I'm going to talk to you about um, the first Jeep, development of off-road, and how Jeep has revolutionized. So, according to Jeep.com, the first Jeep was Willys Quad. As I said in my introduction, there was only two of these made. It took 75 days to make this Jeep, which is not a lot of time, so that's pretty cool. The first Jeep was made in Butler, Pennsylvania, north of Pittsburgh. The reason Jeep was made is because the military called for design to help with World War II, and when Willys came out with a couple models during World War II. I think I messed up. Anyways, the cool thing about the military wanting design of an automobile, they required it to be done in 49 days. Um, I think that Jeep did this in little under 49 days. Um, but 49 days is literally just over a month to design and make an automobile. The two companies that came together on this were American Bat-Tan Car Company and Willys Overland. Um, Now we'll get into development of off-road for Jeeps. Four-wheel drive was invented by Ferdinand Porsche in 1899. Sorry, not 89. Four-wheel drive is capable of providing torque to all four wheels all at the same time. It is very arguable who made four-wheel drive, but for the most part, Porsche very well came out with it. Porsche came out with the four-wheel drive to help NASA. Obviously, NASA does spacecraft. But soon after that, some automobiles started coming out with four-wheel drive and incorporating that into their vehicles. The military needed a vehicle with four-wheel drive, so when Bat-Tam and Willys made the first Jeep, the Willys Quad, they followed every requirement needed for the job, including four-wheel drive. Obviously, they only made two of these, so um, the second Jeep they came out with was the Willys MA. So MA stands for Military Vehicle Model A. This had to be at least 1,300 pounds, a payload of at least 600 pounds, 85 pounds per feet of torque, and no more than 80 inches of wheelbase, and a tread of 47 inches. This had to be 6¼ inches off the ground too. With the second Jeep they made, the Willys MA, this met the requirements. The Willys Quad did not, but that was just a design to show what they could do. Yeah, so now we will talk about how Jeeps have revolutionized. Um, Depending on your preference, there are many cool Jeeps out in the world today, from new to old. I preferably prefer older Jeeps, but it really depends on your taste. New Jeeps have more technology than old Jeeps, obviously. They seem to be a bit more durable than old Jeeps. Old Jeeps have old technology, such as full-time four-wheel drive and open differentials. With new Jeeps, you have the option of full-time and part-time four-wheel drive, and you could put in lockers in your differentials. So with the locker, um, instead of having an open differential, with a locker that makes both of your wheels turn, other than just one. So um, when we do burnout competitions out here in Castleford, um, when people are doing the burnouts, most of the time they have a posi-track locker in the back, or um, they weld the carrier in the differential, so that makes both wheels turn. Um, According to Wikipedia, there are 29 models of um, Jeep, but just like my Cherokee, that is the model of the Jeep. But there are submodels such as the Sport, the Sport, the Overland, the Sport SE, and so on. There's different models of everything. Jeeps can be modified in a lot of ways. You could swap engines, you could swap axles, you can get lockers in them, get bigger tires, lift kits, different wheels, different steering setup. So with my steering setup, I'm going to switch to an over the knuckle, which is having two drag links connect to the steering knuckle rather than having one drag link connect to another drag link. So it really depends on your preference on how you like it, but Jeeps are cool and you can do a lot of things with them. So in conclusion, I've discussed models of the first Jeep and how they were made. The military made a good decision in needing an automobile because possibly without the Jeep in World War II, it might have been different. You never know. It's pretty cool to have four-wheel drive so we can do activities like trail riding. It's not only Jeep that does trail riding, but you'll commonly see a Jeep out there. Like in Balanced Rock out here, you'll see a Jeep crawling up the mountain. Uh, when you look at old Jeeps and see the new ones, it's pretty cool to see how much technology has come along with our Jeeps. So, is there any questions?
No.
What have you learned today?
I have learned that Jeeps are cool, and I learned that CJ stands for and what MA stands for, and I've learned a little bit about some steering and four-wheel drive.
What does CJ stand for?
Civilian Jeep.
2A.
Second generation Model A.
So what does CJ7 stand for?
It would probably be 7th generation.
Yes. There you go. We're good.